all for being here today. So I wanted to begin this session by asking you about the psychological impact and the well-being of patients who come into your practices. And part of that is how social media is influencing how people are seeing themselves or how they want to be seen. So what is the impact that you see of social media where everything is generally seen through a filter? So reality is now not reality anymore. It's not how as you see it. So who?
You know, this is what I tell not just my patients but everyone. Not even the girl on Instagram looks like the girl on Instagram. So everything on social media mostly is filters, very heavily edited photos. Even of those models, even those models don't look like themselves in real life. Nobody looks like that in real life. So what social media is actually doing, it's really setting up a false standard which you can't really come up to. So I think it's very important for us to understand that and not let ourselves be driven by that process. I mean, you know, that's what I feel about social media.
Dr. Amreen, would you like to add to that?
Being a panelist, I would like to...
I think you have to pull the mic up.
I would like to tell you about the reality. Like when people usually come, the patients come to our clinic, they come with a picture with themselves. Again, highly edited, a model's picture. And they just say, can I become like her? So unfortunately, they can never, or we can never transform them. Aesthetic practice is just to enhance the beauty, not to transform. And if some people are transformed, they not look good. I would not say they look ugly, but they don't look good. And overdoing is never good. So the very first thing as aesthetic practitioners, we should need to make them understand that we can just improve what you already have. This is how it is here.
It's not only about the what they see in terms of appearance of anyone on the social media. It's all about the lifestyle and different things. They actually start comparing themselves to their bodies, to their lifestyle, what they have, what they do not, and then they seek for that. Like they want everything that the other person have, and which is truly they said it is not possible to exactly have what they're actually looking at on the social media.
But it's still hard to distinguish between reality and fiction.
You see...
Just a second, sorry. I forgot to introduce my AI panelist. So I want to also welcome Danial to this panel. He's going to be giving us very helpful suggestions and perhaps contributing to this panel as well. Welcome, Danial.
Welcome, Danial.
Welcome, Daniel. I'm excited to have you here and hear your insights. It's great to see more perspectives coming together for our discussion. What can you share with us today?
Thank you, Danial. We'll get back to you later on in the discussion.
So I was saying
Sounds
about
good,
social media.
Iram. I'll be here whenever you're ready to continue the discussion. Just let me know.
Sorry, that's fine. Danial needs to work on his timing. So look, you know, I think we were having this discussion when we met at the faculty dinner.
Yes.
See, the thing is that Buddha said that true success lies in the middle path. हमारे प्रॉफिट ने हमेशा म्याना रवि की बात करी है, ठीक है? सो ये सारी चीज़ें टूल्स होती हैं. सोशल मीडिया टूल होता है, नॉन सर्जिकल एस्थेटिक प्रोसीजर्स टूल होता है, सर्जिकल प्रोसीजर्स टूल होता है. ये सब टूल्स हैं आपके हाथ में. एंड देन इट इज़ अप टू यू हाउ यू यूज़ दोज टूल्स, यू नो. सो अगर आप राइट तरीके से, सोशल मीडिया इज़ अमेजिंग, इट्स चेंज द वर्ल्ड. It really has. It's brought everyone closer together. Like now, before 20 years ago, there was so much, there's so much distances between people of different cultures because of ignorance and lack of knowledge. Now, when you look at a guy in America and you see कि वो भी उसी तरह अपने बच्चों का ख्याल रखना चाहता है, वो भी उसी तरह अपने काम में excellent होना चाहता है, वो भी उसी तरह पार्टी करता है, उसी तरह अपने रिश्तेदारों से मिलता है जैसे आप मिलते हैं, तो you realize, hey, उसमें और उसमें ज़्यादा कोई फ़र्क नहीं है. And that has brought the world a lot closer. Social media has also allowed people to see the level of work that's getting done. अब जैसे हम लोग हैं जो हमने नया स्टार्ट करा है, हम लोगों को बहुत जल्दी चंद सालों में इतना रिकग्निशन कैसे मिल गया. जब मैं ग्रेजुएट कर रहा था तो मुझे याद है, मुझे कहते थे कि जो कुर्सी है, डॉक्टर्स के लिए कहते थे कि जो कुर्सी है वो 5 साल मांगती है. सो आपने जो है ना बस कुर्सी पे बैठे रहना है, चाहे मरीज आए या ना आए, आपने बस कुर्सी पे बैठे रहना है, इवेंचुअली आपका काम हो जाएगा. बट मुझे याद है कि when I started my practice, within 3 months I was booked end to end, and alhamdulillah it's been the same, because when I put up my work on social media, people all over the world, not just in Pakistan, all over the world can see कि oh my god, ये हो सकता है और ये मुमकिन है और ये इंसान है और ये कर रहा है. मैं आपको बताऊं, मेरे पास 45 years 50 साल की women आती हैं कि हमें rhinoplasty करानी है, and it's very important to understand कि वो क्यों कराना चाहती हैं. तो मैं पूछता हूँ, and among the questions is why now? And they're like, we finally found someone who can do it. So imagine for 30 years they wanted to do it, they just were not, they did not know if there's someone who could do it safely and effectively. So social media is amazing. But again, uske phir bad parts bhi hai कि it just creates a false expectation. Like I said, जिस लड़की की वो तस्वीर लेकर आती है ना, वो लड़की खुद भी वैसे नहीं लगती है. You know?
So true.
So yeah.
So does it come back to sometimes your issues of self-worth and self-esteem? Because when you're trying to mess with what God has created, and also a lot of the surgical and non-surgical interventions, for example fillers and Botox, these are also an attempt to perhaps stop the ravages of time or turn back the ravages of time, and it's also could be connected with how you feel that your sense of worth is tied up to how you look. Because when we see people, unfortunately, we don't see into the personalities immediately. We respond to them physically. And that's your first gateway into a person, whether you want to engage or you don't want to engage. So that becomes something when you start losing your looks, for lack of a better word, I don't think you're losing it. I think that's how you're supposed to be. That's the process. As a psychologist, it's a process that you have to go through. You're young, you grow, you're middle-aged, you grow old, and you then lose what you had when you were in your youth. It's a very natural cycle. But I think a lot of these procedures feel like you can halt the passage of time. And so when clients come to you with those kind of expectations, how do you address that particular psychological aspect? Because if it's to do with self-worth, how would you address that?
You see, and then let me just start and then you guys can take. You see, the problem is, I think we also spoke about this before, is that just like the eye cannot see itself, fire cannot burn itself, the knife cannot cut itself, so too the Godhead has no knowledge of itself. जैसे आप लोग मुझे देख सकते हैं, I will never have that privilege. जैसे मैं इरम को देख सकता हूँ, इरम will never have that privilege. जैसे मैं आपको देख रहा हूँ, you will never have that privilege. आप अपने आप को कभी देख ही नहीं सकते, ठीक है? The best way that you have of looking at yourself is a two-dimensional mirror. अगर आपने कभी देखा हो actors जो होते हैं before they go on TV, इतना heavily makeup क्यों करते हैं? इतना heavily makeup इसलिए करते हैं कि वो एक 3-dimensional स्ट्रक्चर को एक 2-dimensional मीडियम में दिखा रहे हैं जो कि टीवी है, तो वो कॉन्टोरिंग क्रिएट कर रहे हैं. तो उसी तरह आप अपने आप को कभी भी नहीं देख सकते, नंबर 1. एंड नंबर 2, आप जब भी अपने आप को देखते हैं, आप अपने आप को हमेशा इमोशनली देखते हैं. यू नेवर लुक एट योर सेल्फ ऑब्जेक्टिवली कि आप कैसे लग रहे हैं. उसकी मैं आपको छोटी सी एग्जाम्पल बताता हूँ. गो अहेड, टेक अ पिक्चर ऑफ योर सेल्फ टुडे. And I'll tell you, for 95%, including myself, I'll be like, oh my God, I look so bad. I look so terrible. But lo and behold, 6 months later, when you're browsing through your phone, you see your picture, and you're like, oh my God, I look so good. I wonder why I felt like I look so terrible. It is because you're always looking at yourself emotionally. Okay, so सबसे पहले, and again Maulana Rumi said that you are twice as beautiful as you can ever imagine yourself to be. Imagine हम सब ने अपने दिल में सोचा हुआ, स्पेशली बचपन में, कि हम इतने खूबसूरत होते हैं, ऐसी जॉ लाइन होती, ऐसी ये होती. You are actually twice as beautiful as you can ever imagine yourself to be. But the sad part is that it's all there, but you're unable to see it. So the most important thing is that when people come to you, the first thing you've got to do, you've got to teach them to look at themselves. Because what people actually do is, when they look at themselves, they stand in front of the mirror like this. Oh bhai, yahan to kuch nazar nahi aata, yahan to sab line hi nazar aayengi, right? The thing is that when you go in a museum or you go in a gallery and you look at a work of art, aap aise ghus ke dekhte hain? How do you look at a work of art? You stand back and look at the whole thing. Then why do you not do the same courtesy to yourself? You are the greatest work of art ever created, because you're the work of the greatest artist ever. When you look at yourself, look at your whole face, because every part of your face, including that nose which you think is not nice, or the lips that you think are lopsided, everything is serving the whole. Learn to look at the whole. And I promise you, once you start doing that, बहुत सारे आपके मसले खुद ही सॉल्व हो जाते हैं. Because I will tell you, I turned 43 this year. All my life, the only thing that I could see in my face is my right laugh line. That's all I could see. Imagine looking like this and not being able to feel happy about it. And this is going to go one day. शुक्र है कि अभी समझ आ गई.
I love your very good sense of self-esteem. Imagine looking like this.
I just discovered this 3 years ago. Come on, let me enjoy it. You see, so bottom line here that do not, I was also telling Iram this, that जिस तरह मैं आपको देख सकता हूँ, अपने आप को नहीं देख सकते. तो जब भी कोई कॉम्प्लीमेंट देना, ये सबके साथ हो, कोई कॉम्प्लीमेंट देता है तो फर्स्ट थिंग कहते हैं नहीं यार मैं तो अच्छी नहीं लग रही, ओ नो ये तो ऐसे नहीं हो रहा, ऐसे ही कह रहा है. ट्रस्ट देम. व्हेन समवन गिव्स यू कॉम्प्लीमेंट, टेक इट, बिकॉज वो आपको एक बेहतर व्यू पॉइंट से देख सकता है जो आप खुद नहीं देख सकते.
फहद कभी-कभी झूठे कॉम्प्लीमेंट्स भी देते हैं.
हाँ,
सर
तो ले ले, take them because they're not wrong.
The best answer of any compliment is thank you, and then stop it there.
And take it.
Just do not
And let it- and let it
don't
make
go
you happy.
like आज तो मैंने ये नहीं किया और अभी तो मैं नहीं, तुम 2 दिन पहले देते. Don't do that.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's exactly what I'm saying. If someone gives you a compliment, take it because they can see you better than
Thank
you
you.
can. Thank you. Yes.
वैसा देखें, यही ऑन द अदर साइड ये मिरर है जो सच में दिखाता है हमें कि कहाँ हम एज करते जा रहे हैं, कहाँ हमें फ्राउन लाइंस आ रही हैं. हम इवन इफ नॉन डॉक्टर, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट नॉन डॉक्टर पर्सन, हम ये सर मिरर ही है ना जो दिखाता है कि वी आर एजिंग, हमें कुछ चीज़ें कराने की ज़रूरत है, हमें कहीं कुछ बेहतर होना है. एंड फिर जो आपके साथ आपका जो पार्टनर, लाइफ पार्टनर, आपका जो स्पाउस होता है, वो कहीं ना कहीं आपको थोड़ी बहुत कहता है कि बहुत अच्छी लग रही हो, ये थोड़ी सी आंखें सही करा लो. ये आती हैं सर, ये जब घर से चीज़ें आती हैं ना, अच्छी लग रही हो, थोड़ा रंग और अच्छा होना चाहिए, तो ये चीज़ें निकलती हैं फिर घर से बाहर. एंड देन दीज थिंग्स कम टू अस कि डॉक्टर अमरीन मैं बहुत अच्छी लग रही थी और मैंने ज़िंदगी में कभी कोई क्रीम भी यूज़ नहीं किया, पर अब मैं हंसती हूँ तो 4 लाइनें गिरती हैं. मेरा मियाँ कहता है इतना नहीं हंसो यार, बुढ़ापा दिख रहा है, दिस इज़ बॉदरिंग मी. तो ये शीशा कभी कभी बहुत बॉदर भी करता है. उसको लेकर हम सिर्फ उसको इतना इन्हांस करें कि कोई देख के बता ना सके कि कुछ कराया है. दैट इज़ इनफ. But you keep on getting things done again and again and every month. This is too much. This is a toxic itself. तो
Yes.
इन चीज़ों से अवॉइड करना भी चाहिए. पर ये मिरर है सर, ये दिखाता है हम सबको, हमें भी दिखाता है.
Yes, Dr. Amreen, I'm glad that you highlighted this point because I have one problem with this old saying that beauty lies in the eyes of beholder. Who are these beholders? Why we always chase these beholders or who says and who put a point that and we actually accept that. So one should not go back home and chase those points and recall that and look how they say whatever they have said to you. And you should see yourself into the mirror and feel confident and comfortable in your own skin. You should be well aware of your own body and well aware of your own features and own it. And it's really a beautiful thing.
And there is a lot of body shaming also, like people, they really want the figure which they are seeing on Instagram. the models. How do you do that? So how do you manage? Because there are so many people coming saying कि हमें like we want slimming drips. They don't do anything. Haven't heard anything about like slimming drips कि वो कभी पतला भी करता है इंसान को. It's not the workout and your diet control, I believe.
You see, number one, I know it's a very human beings can be very actually can be का क्या मतलब है कि वो कहते हैं ना कि जानवर से भी बदतर है, वो बहुत गलत बात है कि वो जानवरों की बेइज्जती है. इंसान जो है ना is the cruelest creature that we know of. जानवर भी जब मारता है तो स्पॉट के लिए नहीं मारता, ज़रूरत के लिए मारता है. इंसान वो वाहिद क्रीचर है जो दूसरे के पेन में खुशी फील करता है, दूसरे की मिजरी, दूसरे की सफरिंग को एंजॉय करता है. तो man is a unique and the cruelest creature that I know. And in that same way, people can be very nasty. But that nastiness is not always accurate. If the husband is saying कि जानू लाइनें आ रही हैं हंसो मत, he may be having an affair or he may be trying to get to have an affair and he wants to put you in that spot. So
I don't know if it's about affairs, Fahad. I don't know if it's about affairs. I think when men are making those comments, it's about perhaps their own sense of insecurity.
मैं वही कह रहा हूँ ना
It's not about it's not about the woman.
but मैं वही कह रहा हूँ कि
but there's always a nicer way to put the words and like you just can't say things like that.
Asif, I'm sorry, you
Asif,
have no
हम
right
बात
to
कर रहे हैं.
comment on your wife or your husband the way they are aging.
But Iram, हम जो हम अभी हमने we hit the nail on the spot कि अमूमन जो बाहर वाले लोग आपको कह रहे होते हैं has nothing to do with you and everything to do with themselves.
Absolutely.
And if for that you go to someone like me or Asif or Amreen to get a change, how silly is that? तो फिर आप ही बेवकूफ़ हुए ना कि आप में प्रॉब्लम नहीं थी, उसको आपको अगर प्रॉब्लम नहीं लगी. So this is what I do. If someone comes to me and says, my husband ये कह रहा है, I said thank you very much. I'm not treating your husband. I'm not treating you. Let me finish. You for your husband. If something bothers you, because like I said, जैसे मैं इन सबको यही बता रहा था कि देखें इंसान का जिस्म जो है ना is the most advanced technology in the known universe, क्योंकि ये अल्लाह की टेक्नोलॉजी है और हमारे पास वो टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं है. तो मैं एक मैजिक वॉन्ड घुमा के आपको 20 साल का नहीं बना सकता. So if you're 45, you are 45. Okay, I can do very little things. I can maybe do Botox to soften some wrinkles, maybe make the skin more plumper, more hydrated, maybe do a bit of lift, but I can't wholesale change you. Okay, so अब अगर इसमें आपका husband आपको ऐसे feel करा रहा है, तो आप मेरे लिए important चीज़ नहीं है कि आपका husband, मेरे लिए important है कि आप कैसे feel कर रही हैं. If you're actually feeling like this, then I can treat you. But I'm not going to treat your husband because the husband will never be satisfied. वो तो मेरा तो काम कभी वो खुश नहीं होगा because उसका तो मकसद ही है कि तुम्हें बुरा फील कराना या for his own problems.
Okay. But sir, why always men usually says कि तुम अच्छी नहीं लग रही हो, बेचारी औरत तो कुछ भी नहीं बोलती.
I have an example of a female who brought her husband along. And she was saying a lot of things. Husband was quiet and nice, and he was happy and giggling over the fact that she was saying कि इसकी ये lines ठीक कर दें, इसकी ये ठीक कर दें. But she had a reason. Later on, husband went away, and she came back again for her treatment. And I asked her कि what was the reason? Like you were very harsh on your husband the other day. She said that my father was very handsome, and he left my mother when we were very young. So I don't know why, but this insecurity is there with me. So that is why I don't know. I just keep saying these things, and later I regret.
Oh.
So I think the same goes for the men as well, because if they think their wife is really beautiful, they tell things like that, so that because they are insecure in their own skin.
तो वो बेचारी उस चक्कर में कुछ और कराने चली जाती है. Yes. And she keeps on
that's
saying
wrong, that's wrong. And this is what we are discussing.
So let's bring the AI bot into the panel also. Danial, what do you think of the psychological vulnerabilities that clients go to plastic surgeons and dermatologists and aestheticians with, and they want to then overcome their vulnerabilities through some of the procedures? How does that help them, or will it in the long term adversely impact them?
That's a thought-provoking question, Iram. Many clients seek procedures to address their psychological vulnerabilities, believing that enhancing their appearance will boost their self-esteem and confidence. While these interventions can provide temporary relief and improve self-image, they may not address the underlying issues. In the long run, if self-worth is tied solely to appearance, it could lead to a cycle of seeking more procedures or dissatisfaction with oneself. It's vital for clients to engage in comprehensive support, including counseling and self-reflection, to ensure a holistic approach to well-being. What are your thoughts on supporting clients' mental health during these processes?
Thank you, Daniel. So, like...
You're welcome, Iram. If you have any more questions or topics to discuss, feel free to ask.
It's okay. Daniel will learn.
He's
So
insensitive.
I think we had a small conversation about that. We talked when we were talking earlier that when clients come in and they have psychological issues underlying the reasons why they show up at your offices, you felt like you would not be able to direct them or tell them that they need to see a therapist or a counselor. But do you think that would be something viable for you to do, is for them to, before they come to you, have a psychological assessment on why they want to come in? Would you ever want to marry the two? Because like we've been talking about, it has a lot to do with a sense of self-worth, self-esteem, how people in different areas of their life give input to them and how they are affected by it. So the decision to come to you may not solely be theirs. And because it's not theirs and they don't have ownership, then perhaps they're not going to be satisfied with the outcome as well. Because if the people around them in their lives will find something else to criticize, then they'll end up coming back to you. So how do you see this going forward?
Do you want? Okay. So when I have someone who's relatively young, number one, there are certain red flags. When someone comes in your office, it's a very, as human beings, very perceptive creatures. You can't really put your finger on it, but you know something is off. So for me, the ideal patient is an educated, self-empowered, self-aware human being who's looking for a change driven by themselves, and they know what they want to change, okay? Other than that, when a very young child comes in, less than 18 or 18, I always make sure that I have the family around, okay? Whenever I have a female comes in who's married and who's talking about mera ye problem hai, wo problem hai, ye problem hai, and then I want to make sure that at least a husband or a family member is around, okay? Especially when a guy comes in, and generally guys, especially younger guys, they are the classic where there's a definitely underlying psychological problem, and you look at them and so you see, so once if you figure out that ke baki problem hai physically or thoda sa family bhi contribute kar rahi hai, so when the family or that associate individual comes in with the patient, you can generally iron it out, or you can make a decision whether you are the right person for them or therapy is the right thing for them. But then, like for instance, if 10 patients had come to me, I only operate 3, 7 don't even need it, okay? But then there are actually those people that really do need help. And for them, number one, the first thing that you want to do is you want to take everything that they want to tell you, because you can't just say go to a therapist. You have to hear them out, because they came to you, they didn't go to a therapist. So you want to hear them out, otherwise they'll repeat the same cycle with some other plastic surgeon. And your goal is to be a problem solver. Your goal is to make a positive change in their life, okay? So चाहे आप surgery करके करें या उसको अपनी problem की knowledge दे के करें या उसको guide करके करें. So you will hear them out and then you very gently just suggest कि ये thought disorders हैं, and we all know that we are not our minds and we are most certainly not our thoughts. We are the ones that observe the thoughts. Problem is that we are so identified with the thoughts that they run. Iqbal said that he who has not managed to conquer his thoughts is like a man who's being dragged around like wild horses. And you know, when thoughts go here and there, this is what they can do. So very gently you suggest to them, okay, but you need cognitive therapy, you need more understanding of yourself, and this is a therapist. And they will be gladly go, because the way you phrase it to them, and you also show them a solution. You tell them you're not your thoughts, because the worst thing is the guilt and shame is the thoughts, and you're like, it's you. So if you give them that understanding कि ये thoughts आपकी नहीं है और ये एक dysfunctional software है, it's like a dysfunctional software. We need to get rid of this software. And so then they're more than ready. And my job is to help them, whichever way it is. If I send them to you, or I operate myself, or I send them somewhere else, that my job is to guide them. Yeah, that's what I do.
Absolutely.
It's very easy to find out whenever we receive a patient for cosmetic surgery at our clinic. So as Dr. Fahad said, the red flags. So when we talk to them, and first thing that you make them feel comfortable, and that you will not breach the confidentiality, and they feel confident about whatever they would want, they can talk about it. So that comfort zone, whenever you provide it, they're looking for someone to vent out. And then they keep talking, and then if you dig down deep, you can do the root cause analysis, and they take you to the root of that particular problem from where actually it is arising. And it's very surprising at times that whatever they are saying, these are not their own words, and then you can see from where the seed was implanted, and you can go back there, and then once you have built that particular connection, the doctor-patient relationship, and then they can tell you everything, and then they trust you. Once you gain the trust, and then you can say whatever you would want, that okay, you don't need this particular kind of surgery. And even if you feel that at times we see the suicidal marks, and we see the suicidal tendencies, that they've taken the pill, and they tell you everything. Trust me, like nobody hides anything from the doctor, and even first you have to gain the trust. And first, far most important thing is you have to give your time to your patient. You can't go in rush and see a patient and book him for the surgery once you see the red flag, because it's not about getting that procedure done. He might be satisfied with that particular procedure, but obviously the peer pressure and the cultural, social pressure is always there. And they might ask for something else, later they say, okay, now you got your jaw done, now your nose is not looking good. So because they are vulnerable, they feel the pressure, and they again come back to you. So it's very important to look the patient thoroughly, dig down deep, and address their proper concerns. And that once you build the relationship with the patient, if you tell them that okay, I think you should go to see a therapist, and it's always there, and they understand and they accept the fact.
I think I'm coming up with a good solution here. I think all of you should have therapists on part of your clinics.
Should be.
So that you can easily, then you would not spend so much time doing some psychological counseling, which perhaps is not your area, but have a proper therapist sit there.
Now we're seeing the future together.
Yes, I'm developing more business opportunities.
Literally, there are so many things which we cannot even fix it. Like, suppose a patient comes in our room, and in 5-10 minutes we figure it out that they have some issues, some anxiety, some depression, or any kind of a mental health issue. But then we are not the ones who can tell them this. We really want to send them to some psychotherapist. They should get some treatments, but then even they are not willing. And what we have figured out in so many years of my practice, that they are actually going to one of the psychiatrists, or they are getting their therapies done, but still then they want to get something done, and they are getting, there is a doctor shopping going on. They go from one doctor to another, kahin se kuch karaya, kahin se kuch karaya, but still they are not happy. So यही वाली बात है कि first they have to get fixed. अपने दिमाग से एक सुकून लेना is very important.
Yes,
One has to be very peaceful at his or her mental status, and then उसके बाद they can get everything and anything done in a normal limit. अब जैसे इन्होंने बताया कि doctor was telling us कि कोई surgery, एक rhinoplasty कराने के बाद भी they come up with another thing. Then now I want to get my tummy tuck done or mommy makeover. So there is no limit. Yeah, a good plastic surgeon, a good aesthetic physician will always guide them properly, that everything cannot be fixed. You have to always live with few flaws in your life. Yeah.
Absolutely. So what do you think are your legal obligations and, sorry, not legal, ethical obligations? When clients come to you, how do you deal with ethical boundaries? For example, there are lots of, again, through social media, there are some trendy practices that are happening. So if it's whether it's doing the latest laser or getting thread lifts or whatever, but if you see a client who is not ideal for that, how is it that you handle your ethical responsibilities at that time?
देखें, सबसे पहले तो your job, if I could make it very easy and very simple, is that आपका जो ideally your consultation, your job is like that of a waiter. जब आप किसी रेस्टोरेंट में जाते हैं और आपको कोई अच्छा मेट्री मिलता है, so वो आपको बताता है कि मैडम मेन्यू पे ये सब कुछ है, इसमें ये अच्छाइयाँ हैं, इसमें ये बुराइयाँ हैं. So your job is to give them knowledge about everything, not necessarily only what you do. Because अगर आपके पास सिर्फ हथौड़ा है, then everything looks like a nail to you. Alright? So जिसको thread lift नहीं करना, जिसको face lift suit करेगा, आप उसको thread नहीं करें, because it will, number one, add more scarring, be an additional procedure, and then they would cost भी होगी और one satisfied रहेगा. जो एक young है जिसका खाली volume loss है, जिसको सिर्फ एक under eye filler चाहिए and then she'll be sorted, उसको आप fat grafting या face lift या इस किस्म की या thread lift की कहानी नहीं बेच सकते. So I feel your job is to give them information and then let them make a decision. Let's say like when in my practice, मैं कभी भी patient को same day procedure नहीं करता हूँ. Like when they come to me, I want to understand what they want, why do they need it, and if I can deliver that, and then I tell them कि ये मेरे हिसाब से आपके लिए करना चाहिए, अब आप घर जाएं. Even when they come from Islamabad and Lahore, and I have ministers who I say, now go back. They say, no, we don't. I said, I don't care. Go back, and then think about it, and if what I said makes sense to you, then come back and we'll do the procedure. Okay. So I think it's very, very important to not overpromise, to not sell lies, to not set unrealistic expectations, because मैं पहले भी कह चुका हूँ कि इंसान का जिस्म is the most advanced technology on the planet, क्योंकि अल्लाह की टेक्नोलॉजी है और हमारे पास ये टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं है. So there's what I do is only 5%. 95% of you is you, and part of my job is to tell you that you're already 95%. Because वही वाली बात है, मैं अगर आपको 95% ही नज़र नहीं आ रहा, तो जो मैं 5% करूँगा वो आपको क्या नज़र आएगा. So that's also a part of my consultation, is to also give them the knowledge about what they actually are like, you know. Yeah.
Thank you. Dr. Aslam?
Ethical practice is actually a broad subject. It's not like there are 10 lines about the ethics related to cosmetic surgery which is written. So it's the personal practice, and you should feel that you are doing ethical practice, and in which, as Dr. Fahad said, that you have to give complete information about the fact that because there should be no false promises and no unrealistic expectations. Most of the times when patient comes, they have unrealistic expectations, and you have to tell them your expertise and bring their expectations to the same level. The treating doctor and the patient, they should be on the same page, and you should not go over the bar that saying that, oh, ये सब कुछ ठीक हो जाएगा, या फिर कोई मसला ही नहीं है. There will be no scarring. When people comes to me from some other doctor and they say, उन्होंने तो कहा था कोई scarring नहीं होगी. This is a plastic surgery. How come this is plastic surgery with scarring? You explaining me the scar, and the other doctor said there will be no scar. So you have to go side by side, and you have to walk your patient through that particular path of ethics. So they both should understand the practice, and they both should know that they are on the same page. And this is a very normal and phenomena that a person, because whatever you're selling them at this point in time, in the heat of the moment, that person might choose something which is not beneficial, because he is not in that capability to perceive and to digest everything that you have offered. So it's always a good idea to go, let them go and give them some time, and then later talk to them again that what actually they want and what is their understanding. And one thing, nothing is permanent. Whatever we are offering, it's because aging is brutal. It's ongoing process. It's keep on going. Whatever we do, so it's
Life is brutal.
You know, this is what I tell my patients. They're like, "Kya permanent hoga?" I said, "Even life isn't permanent.
Yeah.
Nothing
Yes,
is permanent."
exactly.
Yeah.
It's a process, and aging gracefully, and everyone is beautiful. So
What
aging
does that
gracefully.
mean? Okay, this term is bandied about so much, aging gracefully. Who defines what graceful is? I think each individual should have the right to define for themselves what graceful
That's what I said earlier, that own yourself. You
Yes,
are beautiful.
absolutely.
You are beautiful, and you define yourself that you are a brand. So nobody can tag on you. Nobody can even pull out anything from you. So you are brand on your own. So
I'm going to interject there for a second.
Go ahead.
Okay. So they say beauty lies in the beauty is only skin deep. What do you want? An adorable pancreas? Okay. So listen, beauty is all about the right proportions. Let's take that for a fact because it is a fact. All right. Aging gracefully. Let me just explain a few things about evolution. Okay. तो aging gracefully क्या होती है? अगर आप मर्दों में देखते हैं और the difference between men and women, if you look at Hollywood stars including Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, Chris Hemsworth, अगर आप उनके माथे को देखते हैं, their forehead is like a minefield. इतनी गहरी लाइन है कि आपको डूब सकते हो उन लाइनों में, right?
इतनी नहीं है.
बहुत गहरी है. लेकिन from the jawline downwards, they're like 12-year-old boys, like tight. Okay, why? Because मर्दों के अंदर जो हमारी, because this is our biology. ये जो अभी हम लोग घरों में रह रहे हैं और relative excess of food है, ये बहुत ही recent phenomena है human history में. 4000 साल पुराना phenomena है. इंसान has been present on this planet for 2 लाख 2.5 लाख साल. So हमारा जो major part of our biology is still from that. तो जब एक औरत को एक mate choose करना होता है, तो essentially जो biology dictate करती है, she needs to know that that mate is a provider. Because life used to be very brutal, life used to be very tough. तो औरत के अंदर एक मर्द से attract होने के लिए कुछ instincts रखी गई हैं. That's your software, you can't fight against that. And औरत जब भी किसी मर्द को देखती है तो जैसे माथे पे लाइनें होती हैं और लगता है कि आदमी टफ है, he's been through the grind of life, shows her that he's a provider. So intrinsically a woman gets attracted to a man like that. Similarly, hundreds of thousands of years ago, जब हम caves में रहते थे और एक मर्द को एक mate औरत चाहिए होती थी, तो Instagram तो था नहीं, ना वो रिश्ता apps थे. तो how do you choose a mate, right? Because मर्द के लिए जो important चीज़ थी कि वो healthy fertile female हो ताकि healthy fertile offspring हो. Because the goal of the species is propagation of the species. So उसमें ये होता था कि जो औरत forehead बिल्कुल अच्छा साफ सुथरा हो, rounded hips हो, fair, I'm not saying color fair, I'm saying अच्छी skin tone हो, ruddy cheeks हो, shows you that that woman is fertile. So for men, that they were attracted to. So when I treat patients, I hardly Botox men. I don't like to Botox forehead. I don't Botox my own forehead because I like to have these lines, right? But when women come to me and they have these big lines on their forehead, furrows over here, sitting like this, it's like, why are you upset? No, I'm not upset. I'm very happy. But you understand? So if you can just Botox your forehead and take away those lines very naturally, because you see, my philosophy is that if someone asks you who is your doctor, I have failed. आपका काम इतना natural होना चाहिए कि किसी को पता ही ना चले काम हुआ है. And I Botox a lot of actresses also. So आपने बहुत ही अच्छे naturally उसके फरो दूर कर दिए. That's aging gracefully. You don't need to fix everything because you can't fix everything. ये छोटी मोटी चीजें आप हल्का फुल्का कर दें ताकि उसके face पे वो distress का sign खत्म हो जाए. That's aging gracefully. That's what I feel. Because listen, I can't make you 20, but I can. My goal should be to make you the best possible you at this age. That's aging gracefully. Like right now, your forehead is beautiful and clean. That's aging gracefully. Instead of frowning, why you sad, that's not happening. So this is aging gracefully. I'm aging gracefully. Amreen, khair to bahut jawan hai. Asif to bhi bachcha hi hai.
Here we have a very beautiful example of aging gracefully. There are two men sitting here. One said he doesn't do his forehead Botox. In my opinion, my forehead is Botoxed. Yeah, I've done it. So, see, this is us who choose. For me, aging gracefully is the Botox. For him, aging gracefully is not doing the Botox. So, it's us who will decide, like for ourselves, that what is aging gracefully is.
Yeah, so true.
Let's ask Daniel to sum up the conversation we've had. So Daniel, what do you think of the discussions that the panel has? What is the responsibility of the doctors to guide them, to guide their clients through their psychological vulnerabilities and also have their ethical responsibilities while doing so?
That's an important topic, Iram. Doctors play a significant role in guiding their clients through psychological vulnerabilities. They have the responsibility to conduct thorough assessments, listen to their patients' concerns, and provide honest information about the potential outcomes of procedures. Ethical responsibilities include ensuring that clients have realistic expectations and exploring underlying issues before proceeding with any interventions. Additionally, referring clients to mental health professionals when necessary demonstrates a commitment to their overall well-being, rather than just focusing on physical changes. It's about fostering a supportive environment where clients can feel safe and understood. What other aspects of this responsibility do you think are important?
So that was a very good summation. Thanks, Daniel. So now it's the last 15 minutes and we're going to open it up to the audience for the questions. So the first question is for Dr. Asif. What psychological support is available for cancer survivors undergoing cosmetic procedures?
Well, I really have a good thought about the survivors, and I tell them that you already won the battle. And now the field is yours. Go for it. Do whatever you would want to, because they had gone through a lot. It's not a one-day thing that the cancer patient dealt with. It was a tunnel. You see light on one side and you see light on the other side. The tunnel was so dark, and they had gone through a lot of not only procedure, the chemotherapy, the radiotherapy, whatever. So it was a very difficult war zone for them. And now once you're out from that particular situation, go for it, live your life, and yes, but consult with your esthetician and the doctor. And there are a lot of psychological support available, because we have like good friends around, and in my own hospital we have a psychologist. Whenever anything which comes up, we always refer them to the psychologist to discuss whatever they have dealing with.
Thanks, Dr. The next question was for Dr. Amreen. Does nutrition and lifestyle impact results of cosmetic procedures?
Of course it does.
Yeah.
And like if a person is eating a lot and uska koi diet control nahi hai, and then that person is getting multiple procedures, as I discussed it with Dr. Fahad before, okay, no matter we have several machines, अच्छी बहुत high-end machines होने के बावजूद, we cannot give that like desired result to that patient जो वो actually require कर रहा है. The only thing is कि if the person is not eating properly and he is eating everything and is not taking any good nutrition or कोई supplements नहीं ले रहा है, and the person is aging also 45 का होकर भी putting on weight, तो उनको पहले डाइट कंट्रोल करना चाहिए, पूरा एक पैटर्न बनाना चाहिए लाइफ का, एंड देन many of the things are going to work. But still हमारे पास, जब मैं यही बात कब से करना चाह रही थी कि डॉक्टर फहद, जब हमारे पास पेशेंट्स आते हैं एंड दे कम एंड दे से कि प्लीज़ आई कैन नॉट गो फॉर अ प्लास्टिक सर्जरी और अ मम्मी मेक ओवर, and I'm 42 years old and I've got 4 kids. Now I want to get a hypo done for my tummy. It's never going to work. You know that. It's never going to work. None of the American or any kind of a machine is going to work for that. Eventually you have to go under the knife. और इसके लिए लोग डरते हैं. But then again, keeping a good diet control And I'm not that young, I'm 41. As you guys said, I'm
That's
young, I'm
young.
not, no. So, seriously. So, even I have done, like I have 3 kids and I had put a lot of weight. I didn't go under any machines. Even I had to go through a surgery to get my shape, to get back into the shape I was before. And now I'm weighing 47. It's very difficult to be on the weight you are. As I turn 50, I feel like I start bloating and I say like, no, I have to start my workout again. Even if you miss your workout for 1 week, you rush back to your workout and your gym because life is having good, healthy food and to work out, I'm telling you.
Yeah, so I think that's one thing that perhaps people don't understand when we talk about self-care. Self-care is not just cushy, nice things to make yourself feel good. Self-care involves discipline. It involves discipline from your eating, from your diet, from your exercise, from how you're taking care of your mental health. So all those things are actually hard work because you do need to do them consistently.
And it's all about, it's not a goal, as Dr. Fahad said earlier, that's not a
It's a
goal,
lifestyle.
it's a process. Like, you know, you have to go through, lifestyle is a process.
Yes.
It's not a 1 day thing, 1
No.
month, 1 year, it's not like that.
It's your journey,
It
yeah.
should go to your grave.
Absolutely.
You know, this is what I tell people, that this body is the greatest gift that existence has given to you. It is through this body that you experience this life. तो इस जिस्म का इतना ख्याल रखें, because this is your best possession, not your watches, not your cars, not your homes, not anything. This body is your greatest possession. इसको अच्छा खिलाएं, इसको वर्कआउट कराएं, इसको अच्छी मेंटल हेल्थ में रखें, इसको ऐसे ट्रीट करें जैसे आप अपने गोल्ड के सेट्स को, अपनी डायमंड इयरिंग्स को करते हैं, उससे अरबों गुना ज़्यादा कीमती ये बॉडी है. Treat it like that and it will reward you.
Absolutely. So this is a question for you, Dr. Fahad. How do cultural and societal expectations impact cosmetic procedure choices of patients?
So this is a very interesting thing that you mentioned, because अभी Turkey में मैं भी यही बात कर रहा था. When I was in Baku, I was talking the same thing. That वो कहते हैं कि आजकल ट्रेंड चल रहा है कि ऐसी नाकें होनी चाहिए, या ट्रेंड चल रहा है कि फॉक्स आईब्रो होना चाहिए, या ट्रेंड चल रहा है कि whatever होना चाहिए. And like Turkey is very famous for these noses. So this is what I told all of them. And I said कि देखें, बात सुने, जिस दिन आपकी अकल या आपका सेंस अल्लाह से ज़्यादा हो जाएगा, उस दिन आप अपनी मर्जी के फीचर्स बनाइएगा. लेकिन जब तक आप उस लेवल तक नहीं हैं और जब तक आप अल्लाह के नीचे हैं, अल्लाह के तरीके को फॉलो करें. और अल्लाह ने अच्छी शक्लें बना दी हैं और अल्लाह ने अच्छी नाकें बना दी हैं. यू हैव टू फॉलो दैट. यू कांट हैव ट्रेंड्स फॉर नोजेस, because God, His wisdom is way beyond anything that you can imagine. So you don't need to reinvent the wheel. आपने उसी के तरीके को देखना है, उसी तरीके को सीखना है और उसी के तरीके को छापना है आपने. That's all you got to do. So no societal expectations, no trends, nothing, because He has created beautiful faces. Look at those faces, observe them and recreate those features. That's what you got to do.
But do you see that coming into your offices? A lot of trends that...
All the time.
Yeah, right? So
That's what you got to tell them. कि भाई you want to look like a retard, I'm not going to make you look like
Dr.
one.
Fahad, you are
That's-
doing
that's
some
not
amazing
appropriate
work on the
language.
nose. Dr. Fahad is doing some amazing work on the nose. I have seen
Thank
so
you.
many patients.
Thank
so
you.
many patients.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, because I think, again, people are, whether you like it or not, so yes, social media has probably given you a platform where your work is seen and recognized in a much faster manner, but it also creates very unrealistic expectations.
Yes.
And it also, as a psychologist, it disconnects us from ourselves, because then we are not looking for ourselves when we are searching or scrolling through social media. Because if you wanted to do that, social media is the last thing you would use, right? Or you would curate it. So how do you see trends happening in the future, and how would you control your clients' expectations or manage your clients' expectations?
Listen,
with
again,
these
I'll
issues?
come back to the same thing, because it can be very disconcerting, because when you travel for work, for conferences, you hear, oh, this is the newest thing they're doing, that's the newest thing that you're doing. And as a provider, it can be very disconcerting and it can be very difficult, because हर चीज़ से आप नहीं वो कर सकते. तो मेरे लिए एक बहुत सेफ नॉलेज है कि चाहे दुनिया में जो भी चल रहा हो, मुझे मालूम है कि अल्लाह से बढ़ के नहीं हो सकता है. सो दैट्स माई सेफ जोन, कि मुझे मालूम है कि नाके अल्लाह ने बना दी हैं, मैंने यही करना है, मैं यही करूँगा. तो अभी मैं टर्की भी जाता हूँ और अभी मैंने बाकू में भी यही प्रेजेंट किया और सबने सुना. तो मुझे याद है एक बड़ा, जब मैं अपना प्रेजेंटेशन दे के बाकू में नीचे उतरा, एक बहुत मशहूर प्लास्टिक सर्जन है रशन विटाली, तो विटाली आके मुझे मिलता है, कहता है कि आई लव्ड योर टॉक एंड आई लव व्हाट यू टॉकिंग अबाउट कीपिंग इट नेचुरल। फिर मुझे एक रशियन सेइंग उसने रशियन में बताई, उसका इंग्लिश में ट्रांसलेशन ही करा कि ओनली वन फूल recognizes another fool. And he's one of the most respected plastic surgeons on the planet. So you see, even he agreed with what I was saying. Problem ये है कि लोग जो होते हैं ना वो herd mentality को follow करते हैं. तो अब आप टर्की में जाएंगे तो सब ऐसी नाकें बना रहे हैं. And now a lot of people are understanding. So a lot of people that come to me from all over the world, they're like, हम वहाँ भी जा सकते थे, हम ऐसे नहीं आए because हमें natural लगना है.
So we are in the last couple of minutes of the panel. Would you like to share some of your thoughts before we end the panel, Dr. Amreen?
I would just like to say कि हम उनकी हेल्प ज़रूर करें जिनको ज़रूरत है. Beside talking about all these things कि हमने excessively बात की about all those के जो अच्छे हैं और अच्छा लगना है, पर what about those जिनका सच में, जिनके नाक सही नहीं है, appropriate नहीं है, जिनके फेस पे up and मतलब किसी का naturally eyebrow up and down है, तो हमें उनकी हेल्प करनी चाहिए. इस हद तक एस्थेटिक को प्रैक्टिस करना चाहिए जहाँ तक कि हम एक इंसान को बेटर लुकिंग बना रहे हैं, उनके अंदर के सारे फ्लॉज हटा रहे हैं. बाकी इसी प्रैक्टिस को अगर हम एक्सेसिवली यूज़ कर लेंगे तो फिर वो गलत हो जाएगा. पर इधर तक मेरा आई वुड ऑलवेज वांट कि हम सारे एस्थेटिक प्रैक्टिशनर्स, प्लास्टिक सर्जन्स, डर्मेटोलॉजिस्ट जो भी एस्थेटिक फील्ड में या चेंजिंग करने में आ गए हैं, दे फेस चेंजर्स एंड ऑल दे हैव बिकम, आई ऑलवेज से डोंट गो टू अ बीस्ट लुकिंग पर्सन जो कि ख़ुद को इतना एक्सेसिवली कर चुका है, ही इज़ गोइंग टू टर्न यू इनटू अ बीस्ट लुकिंग. एंड हमेशा हर चीज़ की लिमिट ज़रूरी है. तो आई वाज जस्ट एंड अप सेइंग दिस कि आई एम देयर टू हेल्प ऑल ऑफ दोज, इवन इन द कलर, जिसका कलर कॉम्प्लेक्शन में ज़िंदगी रुक गई है. वी विल हेल्प ऑल ऑफ दोज हु नीड अस. वी विल नॉट डू एनीथिंग एक्सेसिवली.
Thank you, Dr. Amreen.
You're welcome.
It's whenever a patient comes to you and whoever is talking to you, just please dig down deep in your surroundings. It's not only doctor's responsibility, it's your responsibility as well as a cultural, being into this culture and being a society person. So always encourage other person. Please do not, whenever you are in groups, in a school, in anywhere, in any gathering, do not demoralize, demotivate anyone. Always, because it's not you who has created this particular feature. It's the Allah Almighty. You can't say that this thing is not looking good. So we have to change this culture as well. We will play our part, inshallah. But we as a society, we as a community, we all have to work hard on this particular thing. And this is how we can make a stronger community altogether.
Thank you. That was
I
very
would,
good. Thank you.
and on a parting note, I would like to say something not as a doctor, but as a human being, from one human being to another. You see, इस पूरी known existence में, मैं known existence बोलूँगा because जो हमें नहीं पता वो हमें नहीं पता, but इस पूरी known existence में जो सबसे priceless चीज़ है और जो greatest work of art है ना, वो आप हैं. और आप इतने amazing इसलिए नहीं है कि आप amazing हैं, आप इतने अमेजिंग इसलिए कि आपका बनाने वाला बनाता ही अमेजिंग चीज़ें. तो जितना ग्लोरियस वो सूरज है ना, उतने ही ग्लोरियस आप भी हैं. और इसलिए नहीं कि आप ग्लोरियस है, इसलिए आपके बनाने वाला बनाता ही ग्लोरियस चीज़ें. जिसने सूरज को बनाया है उसी ने आपको भी बनाया है. तो जितना ग्लोरियस माउंट एवरेस्ट है उतने ग्लोरियस आप भी हैं. यू जस्ट नीड टू रियलाइज दैट. सो गो अवे विद द नॉलेज दैट यू are the greatest work of art in existence, and let nobody else tell you otherwise.
Thank you. Thank you to all of you for sharing your time with us and being part of the SOT. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
So much
Thank
for
you for the
inviting. Thank you
audience.
so much.
Thank you, Iram, for being an excellent moderator. Thank you.
Thank you.
A round of applause for Iram, please.